Welcome to Behind the Smokescreens, where we give you a raw and unfiltered look at what it's like to run a business as young entrepreneurs. In our line of work, we have the pleasure of creating relationships with a variety of characters. Influencers, athletes, models, digital media gurus, CEOs, and industry experts. And we'll be inviting them on to share with you. Sit back, grab a sip and a smoke as we take you behind the smokescreens. Welcome to Behind the Smokescreens, Season 3, Episode 3. It's our 23rd episode. We're excited to have a special guest on here. I'll talk about him later. First, I'd like to introduce our newest sponsor. This episode is presented by McDonald's Ice Age Management. We have the new spicy, crispy chicken sandwich. It's delicious, it's spicy, it's hot, fresh, and ready to eat. We're so excited. We're going to be munching on this throughout the episode. And we hope you guys enjoy. So we have on today Mr. Paul Segal.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What's my name?
Paul Segal.
What's my name?
Uncle Paul.
What's my name? Paul Segal.
Wow.
Incredible.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
It's
No
like
wonder
it's like we're at a WWE wrestling match.
Oh, that's literally exactly
Oh my
what
God.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
What is what's your YouTube handle so people can subscribe, comment, follow?
Well, I'm Segal, and here's the cigar, so I called it Segal&Cigars.
Awesome.
Da-da-da.
That's
Great.
pretty simple,
Ha cha cha.
straightforward.
Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm everywhere that you want to be. I'm like the American Express card.
Are you on Twitter?
Of course, I'm on Twitter.
This is the
What's your
best.
handle? Segal&Cigars.
So they're all the same. That makes it super easy for the listeners. Go out, give them a follow. And this is my uncle, if anyone hasn't picked up,
Tio Pablito.
Tio. And he's flown in from San Diego, California.
Just to sponsor the crispy chicken from McDonald's.
Beautiful.
Incredible.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Loud and clear.
So, I actually did. There was a great story there. It was a year 2000 or 2001. I actually did a play. I was in Fiddler on the Roof. Crispy chicken. That was not in the play. But I did a play with Fiddler on the Roof. And everybody was getting microphones.
Uh-huh.
And they said it was a poor little theater. They didn't have enough microphones.
Uh-huh.
And I said, excuse me, I need a microphone because I'm not Tevi. I'm not the head guy. But it was actually a foreshadowing of the future.
Oh.
I was the butcher who ended up marrying Tevia's daughter. So I
Okay.
was marrying a younger girl.
Sure.
See, the future was around the corner.
Foreshadowing.
And everybody got a microphone. And I said, excuse me, I didn't get a mic. And they're like, Paul Segal, you don't need a microphone. And I said, yeah, but everybody's got a mic. You don't need a mic.
And the star always needs a mic.
Well, we found out later on that the people with microphones were not able to be heard as well as the guy without a microphone.
I believe
I
it.
have what's called a built-in microphone.
Sure.
And back in the day, they actually called me Mr. Microphone.
Who called you that?
So, Uncle Paul, tell us about your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your Facebook, your digital media company per se. What is it about? What's the backstory? What's the overview?
Wow. I'm really an interesting character. You know, when I stop and think about it. Let me puff on this cigar here.
What is that, by the way?
STJ, La Polina. Not sure which La Polina is. A little Corona. Which one is it?
It's a Kill Bill.
Kill Bill. I'm not a violent kind of a guy. I'm more of a lover and less of a fighter. It's just kind of the person who I am.
Yeah.
So as I was telling Laura Clark in the green room,
Nobody introduced me, by the way. I just want to let.
Oh, this is our co-host Laura Clark, the fabulous Laura Clark.
truly fabulous Laura Clark.
Thank you.
So Laura Clark and I were talking about where it all began. Because we had a very similar birth. Not you and I,
Oh, okay.
but my brother and I had a very similar birth that, believe it or not, we've got the same mother and the same father.
What?
What a coincidence.
Do
is
what?
that? Yeah. Do what? I feel like I'm down in the South. Unlike people from, Madison, Wisconsin.
Sure. And cheeseheads.
So, love a good cheesehead. It all goes back to 2003.
Whew.
Philip Michael, you probably haven't heard this story, but 42 times. Number 23. See?
I see it. I see it.
See?
I got it.
So back in 2003, the Greensboro Jewish Federation had Marilyn Rosenthal. I think that's it. Is it Rosenthal?
I don't know.
I don't know. No, Marilyn Chambers. And she had said to my brother, hey, let's get her a whole bunch of people. Let's go down to Cuba. So he asked my mom, and then my brother asked me. He's like, hey, let's go down to Cuba. I'm like, okay. So we all went down to Cuba. And at that time, I didn't like smoking.
Okay.
Obviously, things have changed since then.
I see it.
You see that?
I do.
You see that?
I'm watching.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
You missed it.
Oh.
Got to pay attention. So, we're staying at the Cohiba Hotel.
Okay.
We're listening to Guantanamera,
Cohiba Hotel.
the Malia Cohiba Hotel.
Malia Cohiba. Gotcha.
And we're sitting around at the Malia Cohiba Hotel listening to the song Guantanamera by a Cuban band. And what are we drinking? Mojitos. The next show is going to be sponsored by Mojito. And my brother says to me, he's like, hey, you don't smoke cigars, but if there's ever a time to try to smoke a cigar, it's at the Cohiba Hotel, drinking a mojito, listening to Guantanamera, hands me over a Monte Cristo Número Dos, number 2, and I started smoking that, and that's not number 2 like my second ex-wife,
Sure.
and not the Deuce.
It's not the deuce.
But it's it's a Pyramide. And I smoked that cigar, and I'm like, hey, I really like this cigar. Many years forward, my brother and I talked about opening up a cigar store together. And then what does he do? He goes off and he opens up his own cigar store.
Got it.
Did he say, hey, Paul Segal, would you like to join and open up a cigar store with me? No. He's like, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm like, all right. So he opens up a cigar store. I'm coming back from the Habanos Festival down in Havana, Cuba. And I'm like, I want to do something, but I don't want to do a store. Been there, done that. Read the book, saw the movie, bought the t-shirt. And I'm going to go ahead and start a vlog,
Okay.
a video blog. So I started taking all these videos of myself because I thought of myself as being a very entertaining type of person.
Sure.
And I realized how difficult it is to edit a movie. It's a lot of work.
Okay.
So I started doing it, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give this to my son, who's a professional filmmaker. So I started giving some of the videos to him, and then I set up a Twitter account, set up an IG. That's Instagram. And had my Facebook, and started making more and more videos. And as time goes on, I think that sounds like a Frank Sinatra song. Time goes on.
Incredible.
Then I said, you know what? I can shoot my own videos hand holding it, not nearly as good as having my son film it. And then he started making the movies and the short flicks, for a few minutes long, and it became really, really professional. And then I said, okay, we're going to go ahead and stick with this. And that was really the birth of it. And that was exactly the same time that Havana Phil's opened up back in 2011. So, woo-woo!
Wow.
10th anniversary.
I did not know that.
You see? Did you know that, Philip Michael?
Yeah.
A big congratulations to you.
Well, thank you very much. We're gonna go ahead and call that number 48.
I love it. So what kind of content are you making? Let's drive some traffic to this website, to the YouTube, to the Instagram. What exactly are you doing? Are you going and traveling? Are you doing things at your house? Are you interviewing famous cigar people? What's the deal?
Do it.
Do what? I love all these wonderful questions. These are fantastic. As I light up my Padron, what do we have here? 1926? Oh, look at that. What a beauty. 1926, 40-year anniversary from Jorge Padron. Not a sponsor.
No free ads.
Magnificent. Who said that? Magnificent. Marvelous. Funny you should ask that question, because that's a great question.
Thank you.
There are so many vloggers and bloggers and cigar people out there, and they're smoking on their cigar, and they're like, I got a flavor of hickory. A little bit of chestnut, a little bit of blackberry. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to talk about the cigar lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
What it's like traveling the world, enjoying a cigar, being with people. Cigars are about people, about conversation, about life. And I go down to Cuba all the time, attending the Habanos Festival, the big smoke put on by Cigar Aficionado. Not a sponsor. And what we do is we sit around and we have great conversation. We don't sit around talking about the little notes that the cigars have. You like a cigar, you don't like a cigar. You don't like a cigar, life is short. Put it out, grab another one. So that's what I was trying to do on this, is to show people traveling the world, smoking cigars, hanging out with good people. That's what life is all about. That's what smoking cigars is all about, is life and people and great cigars.
This seems to be very much your passion now, but I'm interested to know what you were focused on before that night, before things kind of changed for you. What was your goal? What was your career path?
Laura Clark. That is a fantastic question.
Thank
right
you.
there.
Do what?
Do what? See, that's what I like.
You should keep telling us how great our questions are.
Well, he
I
said
can
your
do that.
question
It boosts
was
our
okay.
morale.
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you.
Help me help you.
Yeah.
So, Laura Clark, you asked a very wonderful question. Back in 2003, what was I doing? I was a world-renowned African art dealer. Oh, yes. How
What a turn of
unusual is that?
events.
So, well, I married an African girl.
Yes.
I went to school in Africa. I started buying tchotchkes and chazarai all over Africa. Came back, sold it in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Wow.
Yes, you people from Madison need to come to the big city,
Sure.
you know?
Venture out.
And while I was in college, I opened up a little African art shop on Spring Garden Street. Ah, those were the days.
Wow.
And I,
What?
when I was graduating, I actually, my senior thesis was how to open, operate, and close a retail store, a case study on foreign fantasies. But I opened up on Spring Garden Street, and I thought foreign fantasies would be a great name of a business. Until people started calling me up on the phone and they were saying, you know, do you have this type of a woman? Do you have that type of a woman? Because there was a couple of massage parlors down the street on
Be a
Spring
great
Garden
name for a
Street.
nudist colony.
Well, it was a great, yeah, it was. It was fantastic. They had the nudist colony. They had a couple of massage parlors, and they thought I was one of those. But I was on the southern side of Spring Garden as opposed to the northern side. And so I'm like, that name doesn't really work for me. So I'm traveling around Africa, and I'm speaking all these languages, and I came back, and people saying, oh my gosh, you got this great African accent. Ding, 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 ding. African accents. That's it. So I changed the name to African Accents. And back in 2003, all I did was travel to Africa, traveled to doing trade shows all around the United States.
Yeah.
I was selling African masks, statues, beads, baskets, hats, jewelry, musical instruments to museums, to surf shops, to all sorts of stores, Disneyland, Smithsonian, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross Dress for Less, all of these companies. But back then, all I did was do the African art business, and then I had my wife and kids.
Yeah.
And that was my whole life. Then the cigars came around, and then I got divorced 2 years later, and I had a lot more time on my hands. I'm
Sure.
like, you know what? I'm going to focus more time on the cigars. And shut down the African art business and said, I'm going to just sit back and enjoy myself and smoke fine cigars. And that's what we did.
And here we are now.
And here we are, back in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Do what?
So, between the time when you got divorced and you shut down your African arts business, what was the main reason that you shut it down?
Divorce sucks. And after a very long-term marriage, your whole life gets turned upside down. Then you have to reinvent yourself. So, in my divorce proceedings, I ended up losing the house and the kids and the cars. And then the wife says to me, hey, I'm taking your name and you can't use your name anymore. So previous to that, I used to be just like you. I was Paul Segal. But then after the divorce, I had to change my name, so I went back to my roots. You know, like your sister, Elizabeth, had said to me one time when she was very young, are you from Africa? Shout out to Lizzie Segal.
She's not sponsoring this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. And where the hell was I?
You changed your name.
She took your name.
So when I was in Africa, I learned to speak French fluently in Africa because that was the language of West Africa that I was traveling around. And when I would run around all the marketplaces in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, people would yell in the marketplace, Paul Segal, Paul Segal. And then I came back to America, people said, you know, Paul Segal. And I'm like, it just didn't sound as good as Paul Segal. And I'm like, I'm going to adopt my African given name of Paul Segal.
But you spell it the same way, correctly?
I spell it the same way. It's like, you remember when we were in the green room? What were we talking about?
Tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato.
I get it.
Right?
Listen, we're on the same page.
Segal. Tomato, tomato. How do you spell them?
Same way.
The same.
But spelled
Aluminum,
correctly.
aluminium. Right? Am I right, Laura Clark?
You are right.
I know.
Do what? Paul, tell us about your second marriage.
Deuce.
Wow, that was abrupt.
Deuce was great.
You were married twice?
Can you believe it?
He was.
So, Deuce and I, we had a great time. When I met her, she didn't even have a passport. And I said, if you're going to be hanging out with Paul Segal, you need a passport. Quickly, we went down, got her a passport. We're like, we're going to run down to TJ. Hopped in-
Max?
Oh. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're from Madison, Wisconsin. You don't know about TJ. TJ is Tijuana
Okay.
in Mexico.
For those of you at home who don't know.
So in San Diego, we're literally 30 minutes from the border. Hopped in the car, and we ended up driving past TJ, Tijuana, and went down to Puerto Nuevo,
Okay.
which is about a half an hour south of the border. Hey, back up, amigo, you missed it. And went down to south of the border, not the south of the border that's on the border of South Carolina, North Carolina, where you buy fireworks at a bunch of silly tchotchkes and chazarai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
So we went down there and we got some lobster on the beach and smoked some cigars, and life was good. And I'm like, okay, you're hanging with me. We're seeing the world. So we traveled the world together extensively, and she was such a great travel partner because we could be driving through Provence, and I drive very fast. We're on these little teeny roads, and she's on her iPad or computer or her phone, and she's guiding us through there, and she didn't get car sick.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else would get totally car sick
Sure.
and be barfing in my car. And let me tell you something, I don't like it when people barf in my car.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of cleanup. And then when one person barfs, the next
Yeah.
person barfs, and then you got the whole car barfing.
Yeah.
Okay, not a good thing. So yeah, that was fantastic, and we traveled around, and then I think she decided she wanted to have a whole bunch of little puppies, and I don't mean like rough puppies. I mean
sure.
like, bambinos, little babies. And I was like, well, I'm cool with one, but I don't want a whole brood of them. Been there, done that.
Don't need a whole litter there.
I don't need a litter, right? So she decided to move on, and presently, now this thing is sponsored by Paul Segal. I'm single. I'm available. Hello.
Hit him up, ladies. He's
Hit
ready.
him up. 5 years single, and I'm ready to mingle.
So
Contact him on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Match, Hinge, anything.
Yep. Matching Hinge.
Okay.
Did you look at my phone? Oh my God.
I
Keep
didn't.
going.
Laura Clark.
I didn't like uncle like son, so. I mean,
Yikes.
nephew.
Son like uncle. No, nephew. Yes.
Yes. See. So where did you come from?
I came from my mama.
No. So you
Greensboro, North Carolina.
you flew here from San Diego.
Yeah, my arms are tired.
Right. And where did you
Paul
go
Segal.
from San Diego to get to Greensboro?
So as I told my son, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So I was invited to Rocky Patel's 60th birthday party.
Okay.
Not a sponsor. So Rocky Patel is one of the third largest individual manufacturers of cigars in the world, making over 25 million sticks. Let me tell you something. That's a lot of sticks.
Where are we sitting right now?
In the Rocky Patel Lounge. Not a sponsor. And so I called up a couple of my friends. I said, hey, you going to Rocky's party? And one of my local friends in San Diego said, as a matter of fact, we are going to Rocky Patel's party in Naples, Florida. And we're going to be taking a private plane there on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. And if you'd like to tag along, you're more than welcome. And I'm like, let me think about that for a half a second. Okay.
Sign me up.
So we flew private, nonstop, San Diego to Naples, Florida. Had an amazing weekend in Naples, Florida. Again, great friends. They all have boats, private planes. I mean, living the life here. I mean, what an amazing trip. Then I came up to Greensboro, North Carolina to celebrate Corky Segal. That's my mother, also not a sponsor. And for her 83rd birthday, and I hung out with her for her 83rd birthday. We had a great time. And then Philip Michael said, hey, you need to join Behind the Smokescreens.
Wait, Corky's your grandma?
Corky's my grandma, yeah.
Oh. She looks so young.
She's an amazing woman.
I thought she was your aunt. I didn't know that.
Funny you say that, because at my brother's 50th party, and my mom was 70, and some of the people, very few of the people, hadn't met my mom, and they all thought that my mom was Philip's older sister. I mean, 20 years apart.
Yeah. No, but
Very
I mean, I see
easily.
pictures. She does. She looks very young. I would have never, ever guessed that.
Great genes. We're blessed.
Y'all
Well,
look
thank
just
you. Yeah, I
alike.
actually picked these up at Costco. Not a sponsor.
They're from TJ Maxx.
No, Costco. I like them because then you can return them. Yeah, after you soil your jeans or something like that, you say, I don't like these anymore.
Sure.
So you take them back.
Okay. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
So while you were in Naples, who was the coolest person you got to hang out with?
Other than myself,
Yeah.
listen, I've been, Philip introduced me, my brother Philip, the original Havana Phil, when I got divorced in 2005. This is number 48.
Were you divorced?
Those faces.
Okay, gotcha.
So back in 2005, I got divorced. First person I called up was your daddy. I said, well, he's not my daddy, he's your daddy. And I said, Philip, I just got divorced. What do I do? He's like, well, join up with the Jewish Federation of North America, and you can get involved in all these wonderful activities. Join APAC, so you can start building the relationship between Israel and the United States. And, because you're smoking cigars, let's go off to the big smoke in Las Vegas. sponsored by the Cigar Aficionado. Not a sponsor. So we go off to Las Vegas, and Philip had already known Rocky Patel for many years. And he introduced me to Rocky and Nish and Nimish, and we hit it off, and these guys literally became family to us. And they all became like our brothers, an extended family, and it was a really amazing thing. And so hanging out with these guys is literally an extension of my family. So spent a lot of time with these guys, and the people that were invited to this party was a very, very select group of people. And they told me, they said, Paul, you know, you made the list. There was a list of 300 people, and you made it. You know, you were 299, but you made that list. And I felt very special being at 299. I really did. But those, you know, hanging out with those guys, it's literally like hanging out with family. And then through those guys, they just introduced me to all their wonderful people in Naples. And people of Naples, they're a great group of people. And they're from, you know, where you come from, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah. Is there anything that you miss about Greensboro now that you're gone? And like you're back and you kind of get to see it in modern day?
I would say it's one of those wonderful places to visit.
Yeah.
Great place to visit.
Okay.
But considering it's about 39 degrees outside and rainy and cold and cloudy, I think I prefer living in San Diego.
Okay.
Where it's constantly like 75 degrees about 9 months out of the year.
Sure.
And the middle of the winter, it'll drop down to the 50s. But I built a wonderful house with a fantastic cigar patio with all these monster-sized heaters, just like they've got at Havana Phil's.
Yeah.
And we can sit outside and smoke cigars, and I can entertain all my friends. And I've got a small little collection of cigars at my house. It's about 5,000 Cubans and a couple of thousand from the Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, and Honduras.
Yeah.
So great for entertaining.
Okay. Now, Paul Segal and I went to the same college, not at the same time.
What?
What? Do what?
Do what?
But we both went to UNCG, so I have
Go
to
Spartans.
Go Spartans. So I have to wonder, did you stop and get a Yum Yum's hot dog when you were back in town?
It's funny that you mentioned that.
Is it?
Because I had a Yum Yum's hot dog all the way today. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
And
Cut
a
it.
chocolate shake. And boy, oh boy, did I get freaked out.
Why?
Because when I was at the Greensboro Day School, not a sponsor, and I would be hanging out with my buddies. We'd go over to Yum Yum's, and man, oh man, I've got a memory sharp as a tack. Oh, wait, what are we talking about? And I remember going into Yum Yum's, and we would order 2 dogs all the way in a chocolate shake for $2.10. Today, in 2021, now Yum Yum's has been sold recently.
Yeah.
Now, 1 hot dog is $2.
Inflation.
And the shake is $4.
Wow.
And I'm like, I ordered 1 dog all the way in a chocolate shake. I'm like, and they said $6. I said, wait, whose order am I paying for? That's yours. I'm like, how much are these things? Whoa. But when I come to Greensboro, I always try to go off to Yum Yum's, but for some reason, nobody will go with me.
Well, now you
Nobody
know.
wants to eat a pink slime dog with a bunch of stuff put on top. I don't know why. And
I
then,
think the pink weenie is the best kind of hot dog.
you like a good pink weenie?
Love a good pink
Yeah,
weenie.
everybody loves a good pink weenie.
Not
And
a
then
sponsor.
I've got in Greensboro, I've got family, I've got friends, and I've got business here. So I was meeting with a real estate guy, meeting with a lawyer guy, meeting with my stockbroker, and I do a lot of business with my stockbroker.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, we did a lot of business this past year. I want you to take me out to someplace special. He's like, Paul, anywhere you want to go. So what did I choose? Country Barbecue.
Oh, what
Not
a
a sponsor.
great choice. I love country barbecue.
So that's what I do when I come to Greensboro. I go to Country Barbecue. I go to Yum Yum's. And very, very, very sadly, one of my very good friends passed away last year, Mark Friedman of Mark's Restaurant.
Yeah.
And that was my go-to, and that was my brother's go-to. And it was the most amazing place to go sit outside, have the most amazing, best meal in town,
Yeah.
and to smoke cigars. And that's what cigars are all about. It's about people and life and conversation.
Yeah.
And if you can go to a magical place and to sit outside and have a great meal and a cigar with great people,
You've got
Life
it all.
doesn't get any better, Laura Clark. Am I right?
Do it.
Am I right?
You're right.
High five.
There it
Very
is.
nice. You're blushing, Philip Michael.
So where are you heading to next?
I decided to follow my nephew. Or are you following me?
Dun, dun, dun.
Philip Michael comes over to me. He's like, "Where are you going next?"
Uh-huh.
I said,
That's exactly what he sounds like.
"That's exactly what he said. I want a meatball sub."
What? That's him. Oh my God.
Where are you going next?
I can tell that you were an actor because it is spot on. I mean,
Like, where are you going next? I said, "I'm going down to Miami on Saturday." "I'm going on Sunday." "Great, let's go hang out." "I don't know about that."
that. Hmm.
What are you going to be doing in Miami?
You mean when I'm not tagging along with my nephew?
I was going to say, what are y'all doing? Y'all are
So-
doing in Miami.
So the problem with all of the crazy travel that I do, and I'm just like bebopping here and to here and to here and to there, sometimes I don't plan far in advance. So like
Okay.
I'm flying out tomorrow morning, and I just booked my hotel this evening, and I'm like, did I rent a car? Looking through my emails, had a car in Naples, had a car in Greensboro. Oh gosh, I forgot Miami. I go into Miami, I go into Skyscanner.
Not a
Not a
sponsor.
And no cars available. So I go into another site and it shows cars available, and they do have cars available. So I was very excited. And I can get a Toyota Corolla for just $500 a day. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that.
I don't know if you're a Toyota Corolla, not a sponsor, type of man.
That's not the way I roll. I'm a convertible kind of guy.
I see 100%. I see it.
And so I'm like, what am I going to be doing down there? Well, my plans were to like drive around, see a bunch of friends, see some relatives, do a whole bunch of things. Now it looks like I'm going to just be hanging out in South Beach, walking around. Let's see. As Philip Michael says, a bunch of pigeons down in South Beach.
Pigeons stay in South Beach.
Yeah, pigeons stay in South Beach.
Pigeons are tourists.
But,
Literal pigeons.
no, not literal pigeons.
Is,
just the
is that a
bebop.
code word?
No code. No, we're all out about this.
Okay.
No, pigeons are tourists.
Okay.
I thought these are just the people that they're jamming to their tunes, you know.
Yeah.
Got the AirPods going.
They're just vibing.
Well, I always tell people I love Miami. Why do I love Miami? That's a great question, Laura Clark. Thank you so much.
Why
for
do you
asking.
love Miami, Paul Segal?
That is. Oh yeah. Because it is the most cigar-friendly city in the United States. In any other city in the United States, you go off and you want to eat a meal, you want to sit outside, have a coffee, have a beer, have a drink, some food. You can't smoke.
Is there a reason for that?
Nobody likes cigars. Everybody's complaining about cigars. They want to inhale those cancer sticks. I'm like, I don't do cancer sticks. I do beautifully handcrafted cigars. That's what life is all about.
Yeah.
And in Miami, you can walk around the streets, you can sit down at any outdoor restaurant, any coffee place, any drink place, and fire up a good stick and hang out with people. And that's what I love about South Beach.
Yeah.
What a great place. And now that I don't have a car, and I ended up lucking out on an amazing hotel right on the beach, but I'm not going to say their name. You know why?
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
I winked at the
See,
camera just so
you're
they
not
know.
only a beautiful woman, but you're real smart from Wisconsin.
Uh,
You know, cheeseheads, they got all those holes in there.
exactly.
You don't have that.
Hey, no holes over here.
No holes in Laura Clark.
We're good.
So you're staying in South Beach.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not a brickle kind of guy like my nephew.
Are y'all staying together?
No.
Boys weekend.
I think not.
I'll be in downtown Miami.
Brickle.
Okay.
Brickle.
Now here's a question: will you update your location on Match, Hinge, and Tinder while you're there?
Man, what a smart girl you are.
I'm thinking
Man, oh,
ahead of
man,
the
You would
game.
make such a perfect number 3. Let me tell you. You're literally one step
Oh, yeah.
ahead of me.
Ooh. Proposal
So-
coming next season.
Laura Clark Stay tuned for season number 4. Will he or won't he? What does Beyonce say?
Paul
I'm
Segal
single.
does it all.
I'm single lady. Huh?
Very good.
But yes, as a matter of fact, Laura Clark, I did update my match and my Hinge profile to state that I'm actually already in my Hinge.
Okay. Oh, we're doing the prep work.
You got it.
He's ahead of the game.
Laura Clark, you got to prep at least 48
We're letting
hours.
it brine. We're
Listen,
letting it rest.
Laura Clark, I did not book a hotel. I did not book a rent-a-car. But my goodness gracious, I updated my Hinge and match profile days ago.
And that's called prioritizing.
Prioritizing.
Do what? Listen, if you do the prep work, you might not even have to rent a hotel while you're down there.
Oh, high five.
There it
Very
is,
nice.
boys.
Do you have any matches yet?
Would you be willing to just read your profile out
Davidoff
loud?
Lounge by Havana Phil.
Is a sponsor.
And these are great matches. Take a look at these. These are cigar matches. What do you mean cigar matches?
What's a cigar match, Paul Segal?
You know, that's a great question. A cigar match has to be very, very long. Now, when you fire up a cigarette, which is pure poison, and we don't advertise that because
Not a sponsor.
not a sponsor. When you fire up this for a cigarette, I was taught by the Israeli army, when it's out there windy and blowing and you're firing up a cigarette, you light the cigarette while the sulfur is still burning, and you can do it in a heavy breeze.
Okay.
Cigar people, you want to let all of the sulfur burn down, and then you have the fire from the wood that's burning.
Okay.
Then you can fire up your cigar with clean fuel right from the stick.
Okay.
So that's why the cigar matches are much longer, because it takes quite a while to fire up one of these 50 gauge, 52, 54 gauge cigars.
Okay.
You see?
I'm learning.
See, that's what it's all about. Education.
Learned
I'm an
it.
advocate for that.
Yeah. Let's get back to this profile. Tell us about it.
Which one?
I don't know. Which one do you feel like is your most successful?
I'd say my left side. Is that my left side or my right side? So, when I was down in Naples, you can laugh on camera. You don't have to
I'm
hide your
not.
face. You look really pretty when you like do that giggling thing. Then you stick out your tongue like, oh my God, it's so funny. So, Laura Clark, you asked literally the most amazing questions, because
Flattery will literally get you anywhere.
the ring's in my car. So I normally actually don't update my profile very much. But I
Okay.
thought, I'm going down to Florida. I should update my profile picture with a picture of me in Florida. So when I was on the back
Sure.
of Rocky Patel's yacht, there was this young kid running around saying, hey, you want me to take your picture? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
And he took a fabulous picture of me, and I'm laid back, enjoying the sun. My chest is all red from the hot sun down in Naples, 85 degrees. Got a great shirt, great hat. And I'm like, looking good, Paul Segal. And I posted that on Facebook, and I got more likes on that than anything. And I'm like, great profile pic.
Yeah. It's all about, I mean, your online presence is really everything, Paul Segal.
And that's what life is all about.
Yeah.
How is that online presence? And mine is strong. Let me tell
I
you
believe
something.
it. I have no doubts.
So many people, they give me a lot of crap, and they're like, hey, I see you on Facebook and Instagram, you're back and forth. You know, you waste all this time on here. Why don't you actually meet people in real life and not in social media? I said, oh, no.
But you do.
Au contraire. See,
Here we are, sitting
Here we are. And
Two
isn't-
besties for the resties.
And I kind of knew Laura Clark before I knew Laura Clark.
I felt like we already knew each other when we met.
Wasn't that cool?
Yeah, it was.
And what's that through? Social media. But
IG. Not a sponsor. Do you want to sit in the middle? I just...
No, you guys are vibing. It's cool. I love it.
And why are we vibing? Social media.
Two main characters.
Two main characters.
And a support role.
I'll take it.
HP.
Let's go. All right. I think that's all we got. I appreciate you coming on.
Wait, I
Wait.
got one more.
Yeah. Yeah. Any last questions?
No, but a last statement.
Yeah.
So when you took over the shop, I wanted you to really embrace the name Havana Phil's. And your daddy, he developed the name Havana Phil's because he went down to Havana in 2003 and he's like, what a great name. And when you took it over, I'm like, I want you to really embrace that name Havana Phil's. And I didn't want you to be put in that awkward position of somebody saying to you, oh my gosh, have you been to Havana? So in April of 2019, I took my nephew, Philip Michael Segal, and my son down to Havana. And I said, now you've been to Havana, now you can call yourself Havana Phil.
Yeah.
Validated.
Validated.
Thanks to Segal&Cigars.com.
Yeah.
Great sponsor.
We love it.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you in Miami. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir.
This has been the most fun I've had.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Do what?
What?
Love you guys.